Hello, friends, and welcome to the most glorious of events, the Movie Mavericks podcast. This outstanding program is hosted by two fine gentlemen, Jason and Trevor. Now make it so.
MovieMavericks.com.
Hey now everybody, welcome to episode 405 of the Movie Mavericks podcast. I'm Trevor Anderson. Send you over to Jason Rugard. He's got a rundown for us.
On tonight's episode, we are going to be talking about the cinematic journeys that are Kraven, Moana 2, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, Terrifier 3, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Carry On. We'll also be discussing the trailers for Robert De Niro's dual role as gangsters in Alto Nights, Jason Statham working with David Ayer again on A Working Man, and Companion, which is a horror thriller from the creators of Barbarian. Lots to get into tonight, so don't go away. We're going to be getting right into this. Do we have trivia? I know we're ill-prepared for tonight. I didn't ask you this off-air if we had any trivia. Do you have any?
Sure.
Do you have the book on hand there? Oh, shit, he was ready.
It's right here.
He
I wasn't ready, but it just happened to be here.
Under the pillow at all times.
It was just sitting here, propped up against the thing. This is a low number, so this is going to be difficult. I imagine.
I'm lowbrow, so we'll see.
Number 47 here. All right. Humphrey Bogart's son wrote a memoir about his father. What is its title? I have no idea. Humphrey Bogart, my father. B, Bogart, In Search of My Father. C, Bogey, In My Father's Eyes. D, Sins of the Father, a Humphrey Bogart story.
I'm going to go with Bogey.
You think it's Bogey?
I'm going to go C.
In My Father's Eyes. No.
What was it, out of curiosity?
It was B, Bogart, In Search of My Father.
I hope he found him. I was never the biggest Bogart fan. I mean, compared to other actors from that era, he didn't strike me. He was just so mannered. I mean, that whole era of acting is mannered, but specifically, I was not a fan of him. Did you care for any Bogey stuff?
I mean, he's all right.
You Casablanca guy?
I just watched not too long ago. I watched, was it the Queen of the Nile thing? What was that?
African Queen?
African Queen. That was pretty good.
It is a good movie, but John Huston's such a muscular director that I think his direction is a lot. But
I mean, he was really good in it too.
He's good. He's good enough. I mean, Casablanca is fine, but I like Double Indemnity so much better that just not even comparable.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you one more here. Bob Jones discovers that he has cancer. His wife is pregnant, and he now fears that he may never live to see their baby. He prepares for his death by filming a series of messages to document his remaining days, so a child will know who his father was. Which film is this? Marvin's Rooms, The Hours, My Life, Last Days.
It's 1993's My Life.
It is.
I believe Bruce Joel Rubin wrote that film, which was his next script coming off of Ghost. Maybe even directed that. But I think that's a really overlooked movie from the 90s. Were you a fan of My Life? I loved the concept of that and the execution, the acting, everything.
Yeah. I thought it was all right.
It's one of those movies, though, that, you know, that early 90s had a lot of heart-tugging dramas.
Yes, it did, especially for that home video market. You know, it felt like a lot of stuff was, I don't want to call it made for TV, but I mean, kind of.
I mean, this I would put with Awakenings, something like that, you know, where it had big stars in it. It was very sentimental. It wore its heart on its sleeve, and it was there to make you get emotional. But for whatever reason, I thought that My Life got overlooked unfairly, but I think it did very well on home video because there was, you know, a lot of people have seen it now, but it wasn't the Oscar winning or Oscar bait that they thought it was going to be at the time, but great movie nonetheless. It really, really is fantastic. All right, let's get into tonight's movies, and unfortunately, I don't think there are that many that are going to live up to My Life, the film My Life, not my personal life. But let's talk about Kraven the Hunter, which could be
that's basically my life,
misconstrued as my personal life.
Yeah, that's me basically, right? I mean, I definitely look like
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
What's his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson. There's a funny. I want to say it was him on X. No, I can't remember. You know, Twitter, where he said that what's the fuck? Now I can't even remember anything that I was talking about. Oh, never mind. There was another movie that was I can't remember the name of it, but it was Oscar bait, little tiny movie that that made more movie than Kraven or whatever, and he tweeted out, if he should just give up or go cry or whatever. Some small movie beat Kraven,
Probably Homestead that fucking that
no, it was I can't remember the name of it. It was the big Oscar thing.
Wasn't The Substance, was it? It wasn't...
No.
Or Nosferatu?
No.
Huh, interesting. But all those have made...
That's the other one.
More than,
I'm sure I could look it up on X.
More than Kraven has. But let's dig deep into this, because I feel bad for the guy, because he clearly did a lot of working out for this role. Looks fantastic in the role, but all for naught. I mean... I didn't hate this movie. I think it's not the worst of these spin-off. I actually think it's better or more enjoyable than Madame Web. But what the fuck was Rhinoceros Dude or the villain? What the hell was that thing going on? And did you get involved in this at all? I thought that the odd or vague love story or interest of the voodoo preacher was just mishandled. The first 10 minutes of the movie are by far the best part of the movie. I couldn't get into it. I didn't hate it, but I couldn't really get into it. It just played in front of me, and that was that. I don't know. I was really indifferent, I guess, to it one way or another.
Well, I liked it.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was pretty good. I don't know what to say. I also like that Morbius movie, so the fuck do I know?
I thought this was better than Morbius, though.
I didn't like... maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Morbius. But it's not Madame Web. It's not bad like that. But it's not a great movie. I don't know that it's a movie that needs the budget and the hype that it had. It feels like a lower-end superhero movie, even though these characters are all bad guys, which I also... don't really get, like he's not a good guy.
No, he's
not a superhero. I don't really
noses
understand
off and
it.
shit. I mean, there's a lot of violent shit.
Yeah, I love the father son part of this. I loved and then the other brother. The family stuff I thought worked really well, and of course Russell Crowe I thought was really great in this, and yeah, it just had those moments, those misogynistic, if you will, moments, and I kind of miss movies that are more geared towards, the muscle-bound superheroes. I'm not talking about Superman, but so in a sense, it's cool that he's the bad guy, that he goes to those lengths and stuff. But it's also weird because he's the bad guy. I don't really, I'm just not into this whole bad guy as good guy thing. I don't think it works. I don't buy it. This guy just kills people left and right, and you think. Some of these people had to be just people.
He's also
Jesus.
He's not like Billy Zane's the Shadow, or not the Shadow, the Phantom in the jungle popping out and like a.
But I kind of like that about this. It does feel like a 90s superhero, like a lesser superhero, if you will. Like he doesn't have the frills that everybody else has. He just has that. He's Rob Schneider's The Animal, right?
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. You're not too far off on that here. And it's about as funny as that movie, too. The thing is...
I like The Animal. How dare you?
I haven't seen it in many, many years, so that's unfair.
I like Rob Schneider.
Well, that's debatable. But... actually, your opinion is not debatable. But,
no.
Him being likable is debatable overall.
No. He's very likable.
However... I do think that there are parts of this movie that work, and there are scenes that work, but a lot of the connective tissue from scene to scene, I don't know if it was a lot of editing. I was hard to figure out why this character is now in this location doing this, and did he pick up that clue to get to this person and find this out?
He just knows things and does stuff, and I don't really know why. Yeah, I agree with you on that. He just kind of rolls through, and he is definitely overpowered. There's a weird dynamic issue in movies today where, and I'll talk about this a little bit with the gentleman there too, or ungentleman, I should say. People are just overpowered in movies nowadays, and I don't really understand why we do that. Like, even you want to talk about overpowered superhero, you can look at Superman, but they never ever did they present Superman as just this undefeatable, uncontrollable force, right? Whereas something like Kraven the Hunter is unstoppable. Like, no one can get him, and he himself doesn't care. So he's a bad guy. So he doesn't care. So he'll just kill everything. Like, what stops him? Nothing. Yeah. Not even a rhino guy can stop him.
And that's such a weak villain. I didn't need a movie full of villains, but the ultimate villain is so weak. I like
the setup of it, of the guy being of it playing into like the Russell Crowe, the dad character, telling him the evil villain guy, shutting him down, basically like, you're weak and I think nothing of you, because those were the dynamics that were also happening. Obviously between Kraven and the family and all that stuff. So that was interesting to start that, but they didn't really, there's no arc there for the villain, right? He just decides like, I don't like this guy because he talked bad to me one day on a fucking safari. I was like, that's the whole movie? Like, really? Like, what? And what else?
Yes,
like, this
that's the movie.
And the rest of the movie is just Kraven's like a bad guy who's like, I'm evil, but like poachers are more evil than me. Like, really? Poachers are more evil than you?
Well,
like,
yeah, because
poachers don't have families. You have a family, but they don't matter, but you're just as evil as they are. Like, I don't understand. There's no morality to this at all whatsoever, which I thought was whatever, which actually kind of is weird in that it works in the end when the brother decides, hey, fuck that. I got more morality either.
Well, there's also, a little plot twist there at the end with some family business that you don't see. But then the resolution of the film, when you really think about it, is what has he accomplished in this movie? And he's
turned his brother against him.
I mean, this organization still exists. They just need a new founding member, basically, or a head, figurehead, right? Because the guy who's running it's now gone. But like, he didn't destroy the operation.
Well, in some ways, it's almost like, it reminds me of the original Spider-Man movies. With
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, where you had Tobey Maguire and what's his name?
Defoe.
But the son, right?
Oh yeah, with Franco.
What the hell? Yeah, Franco. Thank you. It reminds me of that, like him, like Kraven and his brother remind me of is that dynamic, right?
Yeah, like he's now created.
They kind of end it like that. Yeah, it's kind of like the I don't know, the soap opera ish like thing where you're just kind of creating things. Honestly, this is a fucking made for TV movie. Actually, like an idea, right? This is like a CW fucking like, yeah. And so I liked it. I thought it was easy to watch, at least. And it doesn't attempt to do anything too much. But maybe, I don't know, maybe that helps that it doesn't try to do anything. It just is what it is. And it's like, there you go. I don't fucking, what do you want me to be? I can't. This is it. That's all I got.
Didn't hate it. Just didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to like it. Although I do think that the opening sequence in the prison, the Russian prison, is fantastic.
I think all the stuff when they're kids. I think Russell Crowe made a huge, possibly the biggest impact on me for the entire movie. He's fucking good in it.
Funny you say that, because I watched Land of the Bad recently, which we'll talk about in a future episode, and I felt the same way about his presence in that film. That he just elevated the whole thing.
Yeah, he's just like in this movie, he is like a figure. Like, he's the fucking the immovable object. And it's all presentation. It's kind of interesting as well, because he's weak. He's obviously, and he knows he's weaker than Kraven. He knows he's weaker than his son, but I don't know. Interesting. Whatever. It's an okay movie. What do you want?
Let's move on and talk about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This is Guy Ritchie's reteaming with Henry Cavill, this time bringing along Alan Richardson, Ilza Gonzalez. I mean, there's a lot of people in this movie, and I'll let you go ahead and go first on this one. What did you think?
So I thought that, I mean, honestly, this movie's too ridiculous. It's based on a true story. I felt that if it had been more, I don't know, true to life, maybe it would have been a lot more interesting, a lot better. But it's just, it's just silly. And you talk about overpowered. These guys, why don't they just send them after Hitler? They just killed like everything. Right. They do it so easily. Alan Richardson's running around with a fucking bow and arrow, just taking everybody out. Like, why don't they just send him alone? Just take your bow and arrow and go kill everybody. I don't understand. Like, there's no danger in this. Almost ever. They're way too overpowered. It's too hokey and stupid. And it really takes away from, I guess, the significance of what actually happened, what they were able to accomplish, what they actually did, right? Which seems like would be really difficult otherwise if you weren't, I don't know, all superheroes for some reason.
Yeah, I was expecting more of something along the lines of Valkyrie, I guess, with something that
which would have been way better. Yeah,
a little bit more of a serious tone, considering that we're talking about an interesting little chapter in World War II history that hasn't been exploited yet. And I think the performances are very good. I think that Cavill and Richardson and Gonzalez, particularly her as the femme fatale kind of character, are fine. They're up to par here, but the movie, as you said, it's silly would be a good word. And it's the last word I would expect to use in a war film, because a lot of it seems like it's a goof, right? And then there's shocking violence too.
It
and
is
you're like,
a goof, though. It is.
What's happening here? Like
yeah, and the violence is silly violence. It's like Expendables violence, right? Which is fun. Don't get me wrong, but what am I watching?
Or better yet, why does this story need to be told? And who decided that this was the best
manner
way to tell the story?
I think it's an interesting story. This story probably should definitely be told, but probably historically it should be told, right? In some, I just shouldn't be made into some ridiculous Expendables meets, what's the
Wild Geese? That's what it reminded me of. The one with Roger Moore and
I was thinking of
Bowden.
What's the other? It's not The Gentleman, which is a great movie, but
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I mean, you're not a big fan of Richie.
No, I mean I like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but now that one I can't remember now. They made a couple of them with the kid. He goes in just the suits, and they go in the back, and it's like Men in Black, but it's English.
Oh gosh, you're not talking about the Golden Compass, called? Are you? What are you talking about here?
What
the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? What are you talking about? Get the clothes on.
Kind of. Where they go in the back. No, what was the one? It had Channing Tatum in it at one point.
Oh, you're talking about the Kingsman.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what
I mean. That was a tough pull from the fucking description you gave me with the thing and the go in the back.
Hey man, we got there. I took you on a hell of a journey, but that's what this feels like to me. It was like a silly goofiness, James Bondish type, but more like of the Kingsman.
The sad thing is, this is probably this and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. are the closest that Cavill will ever come to that James Bond role, and he's quite good in these kind of characters. Although, the little touches, I did like the little bit of business when he was stealing the cigars and from the guy when he had the drink, and little things like that caught my attention. And there were some dialogue really saying, but overall, I thought that it was kind of disappointing for what it was. And I guess that was because I had preconceived notions of what it was going to be going into it. And I want to see Richardson become a star. And I feel like he's going to be a Cavill type personality, where he's just going to be right on that cusp, but never get the vehicle. Although Reacher's good, but never get the feature film vehicle to push him over the edge.
I don't think he's good enough, to be honest with you. I don't think Cavill's really good enough either. They're the best that we have now, but I don't know. They're not. If you want to talk about, like, they have the physique, they have the look. But I'm not sure if they have the chops. And I do like Alan Richardson. I've liked him in plenty of things as just a straight actor. But I don't know. These guys aren't, they're not Tom Cruise. They're just not. And I need Tom Cruise level shit. They're not Bruce Willis, right? I need Bruce Willis, right? We don't have those anymore. These are kind of like a second fiddle. These are like a step down, which is fine, but I don't know. I don't think I would like Henry Cavill to play James Bond. I don't think he would be good.
Well, I will say this. I think out of the cast that we have here, Richardson is the one that seems a little too modern for this period.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically like He-Man. I'm just like, this is weird, bro. Like, you're way too... Like, at least Cavill is like... toned down a little bit, right?
Disheveled.
He's not enormously huge. Like, Richardson is like fucking enormous, man. He's like Mr. Universe.
Yeah, there's not that much protein in World War II to get that big, They're fucking...
he's huge. I mean, which is great. Good for him. He's a beast of a
human
presence
there, yeah.
on screen. Like, yeah, it's great. Like in Reacher and in yeah, in certain circumstances, it's fantastic. But in this movie, again, I think it was too hokey. It needs to pull it back, make it a real actual movie, a real World War II movie. And I don't know.
Yeah, neither of us can recommend this one.
I would have been more interested in it.
Although I feel like I'm a little bit more on the fence with it than you are. I think you're pretty definitive in your displeasure with it, where I thought moments of it worked, but overall it just... I
think it's too boring. I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
I'll say this, even though I was negative on Kraven actually is a movie I would rewatch before I rewatch Ministry.
I could totally rewatch Kraven. I think Kraven, part of my argument that I like it is that it's easy to watch. This movie, I feel like, has too much. This movie felt long. There's
long.
lots of I don't know. It's weird because they start out, they are like introduced and they on the boat and they do their thing and it's an action movie, but then the movie doesn't start till like halfway through, right before they're actually like, oh, this is what we're actually doing. Like, Jesus,
it's a lot of fucking around.
God, yeah.
And it's not particularly exciting when they're fucking around either. Okay, tell me about Terrifier 3. This is the third installment in this Damien Leone's trilogy that is just getting big. And this was a major fucking hit over the Christmas season. I don't have the balls to watch it. Should I? What's going on?
You don't have the ball. You can skip it if you want, in all honesty. Terrifier 2 is clearly the superior film out of all three of these. This does very little to move that story forward, if really at all. And the production budget is here. This has fucking awesome kills. It looks great. It is boring as fuck. I'm just to put that out there right now. Like I say, it does nothing. Everything in this movie I already knew from the second one. The second one had great world building. It had new character introductions, which are kind of gone in this. Like that little girl's not in this. Well, the little. Mm-hmm. Weird girl that he kind of stumbles across.
His little protege, basically his mini-me, if you will.
Yeah, she's not in this.
That's let down.
Yeah, and this literally picks up where the last one left off, literally, and takes forever to get to the fucking point. Like, you're just sitting there with Art the Clown as he rejuvenates himself, as he rides the subways, and he picks up the other girl from the insane asylum that gave birth to him or whatever. He goes and he gets her, and they basically go around for a bit. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They like go back to some fucking house, and then she kills herself in the bathtub, and then he like sits in a rocking chair, and then years later, somebody stumbles upon them. They've just been sitting there forever, and they come back to life. It's fucking dumb. This movie clearly has no idea where the fuck it should go, what it should do. The lore building is like I say, it's nonsense. It's a reiteration of what we already knew. The Sienna stuff, the Laura Lavera stuff, the girl that was in, the first one that kills him or whatever. Like, she's in this again, and it just takes forever. You know what this reminded me of? This reminds me a lot of like those Halloween remake movies, that trilogy. And here you have a third one, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? What were you thinking? How'd you get yourself here? How do you get yourself out of it? And they really don't get themselves out of it. It just kind of ends. And you think, oh my God, this was just a place filler. We're definitely getting a number 4. It's just
was it a clothesline just to have gory sequences, basically?
Yeah, there was no point to this at all. I felt like there was no story to this. It felt, and I'll say this, in this movie, there's something about taking an evil character and making him likable. Which the first one was a lot of fun and all that, but it was low budget. It was whatever it was. And the second one, the world building and the way that they built the tension in the second one, especially, it's completely missing in this one. But that whole discovery of the girl's like past, then she's like kind of born to like kill him and all this kind of shit that's going on. That's really cool, and like the way that unfolds is fun and interesting. And Art the Clown is fun in the second one when he kills people. It's literally like you're like, whoa, wow, that's a lot of fun, and he's ridiculous, like he's having fun, like killing people, and he's being the clown person.
Oh, he was good in that second one. His performance was like almost silent movie-esque. He's very.
And in this, right when he kills people, and then he's in the bed with all the blood, and he's flying around, and it's kind of laugh. You kind of laugh out loud a little bit. You kind of, in some weird way, I don't know, root for him,
enjoy him
in some little bit. Yeah, he seems like he's enjoying it and all that. And they attempted that again in the third one, but the kills are pointless. And I don't know, there's no tension. There's just not a lot of fun in it. Like he kills people and he's like, yay. And you're like, okay, but now you really seem evil. Like you seem really extra evil. And they kind of almost, I don't know if they do it on purpose or not, but it feels like they're almost telling you, no. Did you have too much fun in the last one? Because he's actually evil. He's the bad guy, and it feels like kind of reinforcing this. I don't know if they did it on purpose. That's how it felt when I watched it, which sucked all the air out of it, sucked all the fun out of it.
What was the most gruesome sequence in the film? Give me the most gruesome kill.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of blood. I don't know. I don't want to ruin it.
Which kill got underneath your skin?
None of them got underneath my skin. But they expand on. Well, I don't. Again, there's a wiener in it. Does that help?
Oh, okay.
I mean, literally beats the hell out of a wiener.
Oh, great.
They kind of expand on. They kind of expand on the original kills from the first movie. I'll leave it at that. And there's in the first movie, you remember the girl, she's upside down. And he cuts her.
I know what you're getting at.
Pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of expand on that to a degree of complete insanity, where he just smashes people and then continues smashing them
it's
beyond
overkill.
The point of death. And that's what I mean by to the point where they kind of make him we're not having fun anymore. We're just being evil and we're just killing people and there's no suspense. So I'm not having fun, watching this. There's no build up. I don't care about any of these people you're killing, which is fine. That it's a horror movie. That's going to happen, right? You have to have the fun kills and there are going to be people you don't like or people you don't even know. Fine. I get it. But this whole movie is that. And it's too much of the Sienna, the Laura Lavera character, being the Laurie Strode, being on her own, this evil guy's coming, he's coming back. You're like, yeah, well, fucking get there already, okay? Let's do this. Let's make it happen.
Well, it sounds like I'll never be seeing Terrifier 3, even though I did enjoy Terrifier 2.
I love Terrifier 2.
Yeah,
I think you really liked it as well.
I did. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
But I don't think I would even bother watching Terrifier 3 again. I think I would just skip this one. I'd watch the first one, I'd watch the second one. If the fourth one has any redeeming anything whatsoever, I hope it does, then great. If not, then this is just going to be a dead series pretty soon. I understand people enjoyed this, but it's not enough to carry on. Eventually, I should say all these series do this, right? The Friday the 13th had a similar thing. They peter out. They don't know where to go. The Halloween series, it all did it.
When they become the kills become more outlandish each time, the characters become less interesting.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they all tend to do that. But I don't know. They're remaking a bunch of horror stuff again. They're making a new Final Destination movie. Talk about something that just went from an actual story to just a concept.
In a weekly exploited concept. The final ones, some of those last ones were very, very
That's what I mean. They were just a concept, right? It was just, here's a guy. And that's what Terrifier 3 is. He's a guy. He's a clown. He's an evil demon clown. He kills people. You're like, okay.
But it's Christmas time. It's not even Halloween time.
Yeah, it's Christmas time. He's going to kill kids. I'm like, okay, it's 2 hours fucking long, though.
I think it's plus 2 hours and something. It's a long, it's just
it's 2 hours long and you feel it. It needs to be an hour 30, hour 40 max, especially for what it is.
The second one was long, too, to be fair. I thought
but the second one had, you remember in the second one where he runs across her in the whole fucking Halloween store thing. Is phenomenal.
It's a good sequence.
That one.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You feel like, oh, he's gonna kill her at any minute, but he kind of lets her go and he's toying with her and he escapes stuff, and that exists in this one. He comes across he goes into a bar and he comes across to Santa Claus, and of course he actually pees on him and stuff, and then he kills him. But why do I care?
Yeah.
I don't. Who cares? Who gives a shit? And it's not scary. I know he's gonna kill them. There's no tension. There's nothing. It's just, it's all around.
None of that shit. I don't care how gory or if he's beating on wieners and putting saws up people's asses. None of that will match.
It looks really good.
The oddness and the creepiness of Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2. Oh. 1 and 2.
I'm sorry. You mean the toy maker?
Oh my goodness. That dude, the first two.
What is that one? The fourth one or something?
I think that's like the demonic one. It might even be part 5 there. One of those they disregard like the whole Billy subplot of part 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, but I think that's I want to say that is the one. I don't remember anymore. I did just rewatch those not too long ago.
Fantastic films.
All of them. They're awful.
They're awful, but it's the dude who plays Billy is fucking good. In those movies, he actually is pretty fucking good. He's creepy as shit in those movies, and you believe that this dude had some traumatic shit happen to him on Christmas Eve.
Oh, 100%.
Of course, he's going to turn out to be like this.
I know.
And I always crack up when I rewatch those movies, especially the first one, and you see all that like the stolen shots they basically have of the toy store with all those copyrighted figures in the background. It's like, I don't think you can put Mickey Mouse in the background of your shots, sir, any longer, but. In 1984, you can get away with that. All right, let's move on and talk about Moana 2. This is the big Disney release of the holiday season. I got a chance to catch up with this one, and I got to say, out of the sequels released this year from Pixar, this is the preferable one in my opinion. I prefer this over In-N-Out 2, or Inside Out 2. My God, In-N-Out. I always prefer. I'll have a double, please.
Make up your mind.
Inside Out 2, I thought was not nearly worth the hype that and the box office success it got. I loved the first one, but the second one I thought was just okay. And while Moana 2 is not nearly as good as the first one, there's none of those earbug songs that you kind of come out humming. I do enjoy the visual aesthetic and the way they make this water look and the way that they're representing the Polynesian people in like the movement of the dance. It looks so, I mean, these things have come so far that these animated films are just fun to look at, but story-wise, not that strong. It's pretty weak a way to get all these characters back, especially King Maui. Not my favorite Pixar movie, but actually better than Inside Out 2. So I'm going to give this one a mild recommendation. If you like the first one, you'll probably like this one, but it's a step down in quality and you can feel it. This reminds me of, even though money has been poured on this and it's making $1 billion, it reminds me of something like The Return of Jafar or The Lion King 2, these direct-to-DVD, when Disney had their animated direct-to-video branch,
Right.
That did well.
Was originally a Disney Plus show.
And without the money being spent on it, it would have been fine as a Disney Plus show because, once again, there's no real reason for this to be in theaters. It's not telling a compelling enough story to where you go, oh, yeah, I get why this exists. The first one at least had a story that it was a myth and a story that you can get behind and in the whole thing.
There's nothing else, though, so at least it's smart of them to have pulled this from the streamer and instead cut it into a movie, make a cohesive film out of it and put it out there because there's no competition.
And it made $1 billion, so it turned out to be a beautiful masterstroke by them. But from a creative standpoint, it is a step backwards. And even though it's visually splendid, there's no song in it. Like I said, there's not one song that you can come out of it and go, yeah, that was pretty good. Whereas the first Moana had 2 or 3 songs that are still in rotation on the Spotify playlist in this house. I'll tell you that shit.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know any of them.
Yeah, well,
I don't know any of them. The Moana songs.
You're lucky.
Moana.
I prefer these over the Sabrina Carpenter songs, so it is what it is.
I don't know those songs either.
Well, Google Sabrina Carpenter and you'll be a fan. Let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong because you sent me a few surprising text messages about this film, and go ahead and share those.
The text messages?
Well, just what please do not share those. Your overall feeling about the film.
Yeah, so I thought that this movie was just fucking fun, and the interesting thing about it is that this is mostly a King Kong movie more than a Godzilla movie. I feel like that helped quite a bit. Actually, it gave it a whole storyline about King Kong going into this underground world and trying to find other big apes like him, and he of course finds them, and he winds up having to team up with Godzilla in order to defeat them, right? Because it turns out that the leader of the apes is bad. Pretty stupid storyline. A lot of fucking fun. More fun than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. And it's hokey. It's dumb. But it's fun.
I was blown away that you reviewed the movie like that. I thought, first of all, why are you watching this? Because I didn't think you liked any of the Godzilla or Kong films leading up to this.
Oh, I loved the third one, maybe the King of All Monsters, I think was the other one. Oh, and Mothra's in this one. It's fucking awesome.
I loved Skull Island quite a bit. I didn't care for the Godzilla ones.
This is a lot of. I didn't like any of the. I think I liked the third one. It was the All Monsters one, where they go around with the little Stranger Things girl, whatever.
Yeah,
and
that's the third one.
I think is in it. Yeah, that one I thought was really good. And all the other ones I kind of, whatever, you know. The Godzilla Kong one before this was also like not very good, but Skull Island's great, and this is almost like a sequel to Skull Island.
Oh shit! All right.
So that's why I thought this is fucking awesome. But it's all Skull Island, not from people's point of view, but mostly from like Kong's point of view. Like he's got to go.
Do you write this film? I mean, Jesus,
there's like no dialogue in some of this shit. I'm into it. I'm like, fuck yeah, King Kong, go. Like, watch out, watch your back. And he's a fucking hero too, you know. Like he doesn't fucking kill people. Even though he's like he should, but he's like, nah, I'm a good guy. I don't fucking kill. And he teaches
like Donkey Kong and King Kong.
The other bad apes are like, this and that. Then he like wins them over because they're like, oh fuck, like this dude's. Like, this guy's not going to kill me. Like, oh, all right. Like, I can be a good ape. Oh, cool. It's fucking ridiculous, but I thought it was fun.
I'm definitely going to have to check it out.
Movies like this, you know, they don't make enough, like, I don't know, positive male role model movies, and this is definitely one. It's weird to say that, but it is.
I mean, if the male role model is a hairy ape and a lizard person.
Exactly, right?
But hey, we used to have Riggs and Murtaugh. Now we got Godzilla and King Kong, so...
Yeah, and Godzilla definitely takes a back, not a back door, you know, but a back seat. But he's still in it, and he comes in the end, and they.
I'm sure he does.
I don't know, they're best friends. Yeah, believe me, they're all good. You know, Mothra is like comes and blows him. He's like, awesome.
Different kind of Kong movie.
Fucking, I'm good.
I think that's the 1976 version of King Kong. It reminds me of
Avatar a lot too. They have like the humans are like flying around in like, you know, machine flying things, and they're like Avatar. I don't know.
I will be watching this though because I got to see.
I think everyone should watch it. I think it's nonsense fun. You don't have to have seen any of the other fucking ones because it basically just kind of explains it to you. Well, fuck, there's nothing even explain. There's monsters.
Yeah, I mean, I think the title's fairly self-explanatory at this point.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to check it out. So that's the first movie you recommended on tonight's show, and it wouldn't have been Godzilla versus Kong that I thought would get the recommendation out of all these.
Yeah. Well, it's Godzilla X Kong.
Oh, he's an X Kong.
Isn't it? The new Empire. Yeah, he's an X Kong. The new Empire.
Now, here's a movie I have not gotten a chance to watch, and that's Carry On, which is doing spectacular viewing numbers on Netflix. Directed, this is basically Jason Bateman and the kid from Kingsman, I can't think of, Taron Egerton. What's going on with this movie? Yeah. Everybody was watching this during the Christmas season, telling me this is this year's version of Die Hard. I didn't want to watch it just based on that synopsis. Was I wrong to not watch it?
No, this is a silly, stupid movie. Look, I like this. The director on this, I think, is pretty good.
Is it Jaime Collet-Serra? Who did this?
Yeah. So, like, The Shallows is fucking awesome, right?
It is. And Jungle Cruise is okay, too.
Fucking awesome. Jungle Cruise is fine. Look, The Commuter's fine. Run All Night is fine. Nonstop is fine. You know, Unknown is fine, right? And so on and so forth. I really did like House of Wax as well. So... I got nothing against the director, and it's directed fine, but it's written like shit. It's a fucking dumb movie. And Jason Bateman, I think Jason Bateman believes he's chewing up the scenery in this one. He thinks he's a fucking master actor. And he is just being Jason Bateman, kind of a dick. So I don't, you know, it's just not that good of a movie, you know, to be honest with you. And there's a weird, there's a side character in this, of course, an FBI agent. And I won't get in too much into it, but she's a black woman. So big surprise, right? And they kind of shoehorn her in there, and she has her own. She's like the main character as well, but in like another movie that's also for some reason in this movie, and the biggest action sequence in the film, certainly the most CGI, the most intense, if you will, action sequence, is her and some other random guy in a fucking car, and they get into some fight in a car, and the car goes and crashes, and it's been shared all over the internet. Everyone loves it, and it's fucking horrific. It's stupid. It looks dumb. It's an afterthought, like an add-in scene, and that's kind of this whole movie, as far as I'm concerned. It's this Taron Egerton guy's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm better, and Jason Bateman's like, no, you're going to do what I say. I'm better, and that goes on for like 2 hours.
Well, I mean, technically that's Die Hard as well. If you boil it down to the very basic.
There's a lot more going on in Die Hard. There's none of that happens in this, right? I mean, I guess it wants to. It thinks it's doing it, but it's really not. Like, I don't know. Die Hard's fun. Die Hard has characters. This doesn't have characters. Like I say, Jason Bateman thinks he's being a character, but he's just being Jason Bateman.
Well, it sounds like he thinks he's being James Woods, and he's really going to go do the whole thing.
Watch the movie. If you ever went, tell me Jason Bateman does not think he is chewing up the scene. He's fucking owning it, right? But also, he looks like he thinks he's fucking owning it. Like, it doesn't, you can't, just no.
It's too self-conscious.
No. Just no. Yeah, the whole movie feels like that, though. The whole movie feels like we're definitely like, this is good. We're doing something good. It feels fake, it just feels fake. I don't know. And so many of the other movies that I listed, this director did, feel not fake. They feel true. They feel, I don't know what the word would be, but like, I don't know, motivated, this just feels like a made for streaming movie. This feels like something that was definitely, that has no heart, right? There's no soul in this. It was made by committee.
It sounds like an assignment
for sure it
for
was.
The director more than anything.
Well, for actor, I think for everybody in this, this is a movie that exists. I don't understand why people are watching this to the degree that they are, as if this is if this is good film, then I don't know what to say, yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't even know why this is like this wouldn't even be a rental like back in the day, to be honest with you. This is like, Cellular is a fucking better movie than this.
Oh, Cellular is way underrated. I really enjoy Cellular.
Yeah, so but that's how I feel on watching this. You watch this and you're like, why are people liking this so much? And I feel like there's one of the issues is production, right? Everything is produced, like overproduced, right? Everything's so slick. Everything looks good. Everything does. Is that a good movie? Is that enough?
It's just free on your Netflix subscription, so you just push play during Christmas, right? That's why it's getting
produced, right? But this is in general what they have put into theaters as well. It's what everyone's doing this, right? They're just mass producing stuff, and in the worst case scenario, you get A24 stuff, which is like, not only is it overproduced, it's like over themified. I don't know what you would call it. Like it just no movie should have that much of a point, and a high level point either that these movies have. It's the M. Night Shyamalan effect in a way, right? Like everything had to have a twist in it for a while. Now everything has to have a super good point in it. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you're not recommending Carry On.
I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't even recommend it for a casual watch. I think it's boring as shit. And not only is it boring as hell, but it's so bad and so poorly put on that it kind of angered me when I watched it. I'm not going to lie.
All right, well, to recap here, we both, we kind of split here on Kraven. You enjoyed it more than I did. So are you recommending Kraven? Would you recommend that to people? Somebody asked you, should I watch Kraven? If your brother came to you and said, should I put Kraven on?
Yeah, I mean, but with the caveat that, of course, it's just a simple watch. It's a easy, simple story. There's nothing great in it, right? But it's a good movie. I think it's fine.
All right, so you actually recommend Kraven there. I was positive on Moana 2, although to a lesser degree than the original. We both felt like the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was a misfire. You thought Terrifier 3 was wrong-headed, although surprisingly, you really enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong, which I got to check out. And you said Carry On was enough to make people just carry on with their daily life and not acknowledge it. Okay, let's talk about the trailers on tonight's show, and let's start off with Alto Knights, which has got to be one of the worst names for a major release in history. I think that this is going to... I can't believe it hasn't changed this title to two bosses or something like that.
The title was originally called The Alto Knights, and now it's just called Alto Knights. So they helped it. They made it better.
The big gimmick here, and I call it a gimmick because it's not a conceit, is that De Niro is playing both Genovese and Costello, who were in the war, guys that came up together and then broke apart and caused a huge downfall that would eventually lead to John Gotti, which would eventually lead to the end of the Italian mafia, basically in America. And the film has been directed by Barry Levinson, and when De Niro walks up in that opening shot of this trailer, and the Warner Brothers logo fades, and there's that beautiful production design, and there's just kind of there's a majestic quality to see him in this clothing and portraying these characters, and then he starts talking basically to himself, and there's no real, at least in this trailer, there's no differentiating between the accents, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I thought it was hysterical. I thought, honestly, when I first started watching this, and he sits down at the table, he starts talking to himself, I thought, this is a joke I don't get.
It's an SNL
right?
skit.
And I think I texted that to you because that's what it felt like. I felt like there's a joke. This is an SNL skit, right? I don't get the joke. Like, why does this feel so fucking ridiculous? This is a terrible idea to do this. This is not an Eddie Murphy movie. He doesn't need to play all the roles. This is, I don't even know how to explain it. It just looks stupid. The movie actually looks pretty decent, okay for a gangster movie. And Barry Levinson makes great gangster movies, right? I think, goddamn, get another actor. Get one more actor.
That's what I thought. I mean, was Harvey Keitel too busy? I mean, if you want to stay in this genre, when he sits down with himself at that table, even though he's playing two different characters, I thought, they're trying to one-up Heat. Because who's better than De Niro and Pacino? De Niro and De Niro.
Double De Niro's? They only if they had double Pacinos, too.
You couldn't get Jack Nicholson to come out of retirement? I mean, anybody else that could have done this in this age range? James Woods, I just mentioned earlier, could have done something like... There's a lot of people who could have come out in this age range and played against De Niro and given him somebody to play against. Because that sequence... And you're right, the rest of the trailer looks really good, but that sequence... looks bizarre. It feels bizarre.
The whole movie feels bizarre because of that. Even though it cuts back and forth between those two characters, even when they're not in the same room, it's fucking matter. Weird. And the makeup looks fucking dumb.
It looks the exact same on both of them.
It looks, and it looks bad. It looks horrible. It doesn't look right. It looks like it's like, goddamn, he's almost like a Dick Tracy character.
When he was doing the Genovese side, good. The guy on the left-hand side of the table, and they cut to, and he had the glasses on, it looked like when Eddie Murphy was doing the Jewish man in Coming to America in the barbershop. Well, Muhammad Ali was an asshole.
But isn't that what this feels like, a Eddie Murphy thing? That's why it feels like it's not right. It's not right.
It's maybe it's going to be fantastic because I do like Levinson, and it's not, Bugsy is one of my favorite gangster movies of all time.
Yeah, he's made great... Look, Barry Levinson's made fantastic movies. He's made one of the few found footage movies that's really good, The Bay. If anyone ever
that is good,
gets a chance to see that. Yeah, he's made some really, really good movies. He's also made Envy, but I don't know. Just seems like the gimmick in this is just stupid. This is dumb. Wouldn't you shoot like a test scene of this and then watch that and then immediately realize, this is a bad idea?
They keep doing this weird shit with De Niro. I thought the de-aging him in The Irishman was a bad idea, but I mean, somehow this keeps happening.
Like The Irishman.
De
Niro's too old at this point. He's so old. I don't even. I just don't get it anymore.
This feels like a warmed over. Outside of this concept of the two, him playing dual roles, it feels very warmed over, and I'm not really sure what this is going to bring new to this tale that's been documentary up the wazoos about these two guys, and so I don't know what this is trying to say or what it's new going to say, but I didn't even the big line in the trailer when he's like, "Oh, he's not going to do that, boss," and he goes, "How do you know what he's going to do?" Like, was that supposed to be like an impactful line? I didn't understand what this trailer was trying to get across to me.
You know, because you are him.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, how do you know? I know because I'm playing a dual role, so I read the script. All right, let's move on.
I'm the guy.
Let's talk about a working man. The new Jason Statham, David Ayer reconnection. This looks like it could be The Beekeeper 2, The Bricklayer, or any other movie.
Better than all those.
Any other movie that you have.
Huge hopes and huge psyched about this fucking movie.
Well, you know who it's written by, correct?
It's written by Chuck Dixon and Sylvester Stallone, and is based on a Chuck Dixon novels. And Chuck Dixon is a very famous comic book writer. Wrote a lot of Punisher and Batman stuff in the 90s and a bunch of shit in the 2000s. And he's written these books called, I don't remember what the hell these books were called. Something.
I want to say it's the main character's name.
Yeah, it is. Love and Cade.
There you go.
Exactly. There's a series of these books recently, actually. These aren't even that old. And these aren't comic books. These are actually books. And so, yeah, Sylvester Stallone came along, found this. I think he produced this as well.
I believe so.
But him and Ayer and obviously Chuck Dixon and Sylvester Stallone all wrote this, as far as I know, right?
I believe that this was going to be a Stallone vehicle, though, at one point, and then he did kind of like Homefront and decided he aged out of it, and then...
Which is exciting. Again, I'm really excited about this. I like Chuck Dixon. I like Sylvester Stallone, obviously. I think if once a year, at the beginning of the year, if I can get a David Ayer and a Jason Statham movie, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, this is perfect. Look, the release slate we have right now for this early quarter with some action films like the Gerard Butler Den of Thieves 2, we got Mark Wahlberg in Flight Risk, and now we have this. This is the kind of output I expected in the first quarter of the year for an action aficionado. And I'm happy to see all three of these, but I'm most excited to see this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this one I think has the best shot at being the best, the best of the bunch, really. Flight Risk seems interesting. I mean, obviously, Flight Risk is directed by Mel Gibson, so
it's got to have something to it, right? Then, because it wouldn't just be.
That's why I feel like there has to be something. I mean, the trailer seems fine. I don't know. There's not really a trailer yet, is there?
We saw the trailer like last October, but I think there's a trailer too now. It's the one that has that psycho killer acapella singing through it.
Is that what it is? I don't know. There's another one as well. We should have watched each other for that with
the Miles Teller you're talking about?
No, on the airplane. The guy from I can't remember anything today from the M. Night Shyamalan movie. What's his name?
I don't fucking know. You've lost me on that one.
Come on, this is trivia, man. Trivia.
Yeah, this is not trivia because you're giving me half of a question, half of a fucking name.
I'm giving you everything you need.
The guy from the M. Night Shyamalan movie on a plane?
Yeah.
It's coming out. Is this movie coming out in the theaters? It's already been out. What the fuck?
From Trap. What's his name? Fucking
Josh Hartnett. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Whatever the fuck that movie is. It reminds me, I mean, obviously, every time someone makes a movie, someone makes a competing fucking idea of the same kind of idea.
I haven't watched that trailer yet, though. I know what you're talking about.
I am, I don't know. So I'm fine with the Mel Gibson thing. I wished we talked about this a while ago. I missed like the Peter Berg Wahlberg team ups, and I feel like I'm getting that with the Ayer Statham stuff, and I hope it continues. Right, the Berg Wahlberg shit kind of petered out. Yeah,
these low scale action films. These
right.
The stakes
these January, February,
ending.
March early releases, which is Wahlberg's I don't know, his favorite area at this point. Yeah. He's always been kind of here. Sometimes he makes it into summer. I
mean, some of his bigger hits, Planet of the Apes, Four Brothers, but I mean, a lot of like Contraband was released in this time of year.
Yeah, I mean,
things like that. Yeah, these lower tier ones, and Butler also owns this early corridor of the year.
Oh yeah,
things like Plane. Speaking of plane movies,
but these are fun. These are fun action movies. But I do think that this is going to be, as you said, the Homefront and some of the other Stallone stuff, like Bullet to the Head. Like I'm kind of thinking, and this is a great cast. David Harbour, Michael Pena.
David Harbour looks great in this, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I'm all in on this. I think this is going to be really good.
David Harbour has the Wilford Brimley role from Hard Target in this movie, it looks like. He has the beard, and he's just not talking about, oh, okay, Charles, in the French accent.
I don't know. It's just nice to have an action movie, and an action movie star who's like, I'm a fucking badass. I'm going to do, like...
I'm going to kick some ass and chew some gum.
I don't know how to say it, yeah. I'm going to do the right thing, yeah, but that's basically what he's going to do, right? He's like, I don't want to save people, but all right, I guess I will.
Yeah, I put those things away, but now I have to do it again to help this nice family that's been helping me.
Exactly. Creasy's about to paint his masterpiece, right?
Oh,
fucking bring it back, man. Bring it fucking back.
Creasy Bear. All right, let's talk about the last trailer on tonight's show, and that is a fairly short, little 90-second, almost a teaser, but this is coming out at the end of the month, January 31st as we record, and it's called Companion. It says it's from the producers or the creative team behind Barbarian, which was a sleeper hit from a couple years back, and this trailer really was effective. My curiosity is piqued, and it looks like they're taking the AI subservient robot thing, but giving it a bit of a twist as well, right? I mean, this is I don't know. I'm intrigued.
The twist?
The twist is that it becomes sentient. It knows that.
How is that different than any of the other fucking ones?
Has that not? I haven't really watched the other ones outside of
that's
Ex
all
Machina.
These fucking movies. That's why I thought initially, oh, this is interesting. They're hypnotizing her, and then they're like, "You're sex bot." I was like, "Oh fuck, really? Another fucking robot movie?" I'm good. We're getting Megan too. I'm good on fucking robots. They're not that interesting.
You're right. I thought this was like a Stepford Wives type thing, but with some sort of black magic going on. But you're right, it's not.
That would have been way better if they were hypnotizing her and she's all fucked up and they're like making her like, do things to, I don't know, get money, whatever the hell they're doing, with it. But if it's just a fucking robot, I don't know. This is what I'm talking about with like this A24 type shit. Like this movie feels like it's trying to be like this has some point to it, right? Like it's some higher level fucking movie. And it's not. I don't see how it's going to be.
I think the telling line of what this film is and the level it's going for is when the guy says, "Dude, did you just jailbreak your sex bot?" And then I thought, okay, that's the theme of this movie. Or at least the concept of this movie in a nutshell, right there, and that's kind of when I backed out of it. But
what are the other robots? Because you have a sex bot, okay, so then you have every other bot too, right? I don't understand the point. Why is it a sex bot? Just because that's
why is she dressed like trendy? A 1960s
that sounds interesting
homemaker
to do it
as well?
Because she's a companion, so I guess she's a girlfriend. She's probably not really a sex bot, but it's at the same time, it's like what the fuck? I'm so tired of the AI shit. I'm just done with it. It's not. I don't know what's going to be new about this one. I feel like nothing.
Well, to me, it was almost like he got a dog, and then he got love, and the dog got jealous of the love. So it's like the dog is now attacking the love. So
was that even in that? I feel like they were doing things they were making her do stuff that she wasn't meant to be doing, like maybe rob stuff and like they were kind of using her.
Is that what you got? I got something totally different.
What it is. I mean, the thing the part that I fucking think is stupid is when she goes, "Oh, it's just AI power. Oh, 40%, 100%." Right. I just thought, Jesus Christ, how fucking stupid.
Well, first of all, why would you physically have to do that if you had access to that phone? You wouldn't have to go into his phone and turn it on. You could just hack the phone some other way.
I don't even understand it. It makes no sense.
Tonally, though, it looks intriguing to me. I thought that I was fairly interested in this, but I have not seen a lot of these. I didn't see Severance, the Megan Fox one, although I was told by
Subservience.
Yeah, Subservient. I was told
it's fucking stupid
by many people on a business trip. You got to watch this movie. So guys are talking about it in hushed tones, so it's never a good thing. But
really, that's just. I mean, it's Megan Fox.
I think a lot of people.
It's literally just like they have sex, okay, but then she just gets jealous and tries to kill people. It's fucking stupid. What would be good about that movie?
Well, I think nobody that has recommended that to me has seen Ex Machina, which is really, I think, going to be
there. You go.
I mean,
that's kind of the
genre.
birth of all this shit. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think, if you're gonna, and that's an A24 film, right? So I mean, that's when they were
I don't. I'm not sure.
It's Alex Garland as well, at least.
It's
so
Alex Garland,
but I don't know if
sure.
it's A24 specifically. I have to check that.
But A24 has turned into base. Blumhouse was kind of the same thing, right? They had a couple of good hits, but those I don't know, the movies themselves became like thematic to the studio. Like an A24 movie feels like an A24 movie, right? Which is like companion. You watch this and you think, oh, this feels like that kind of like we're smart. It's a smart movie.
It's not. It's okay to like it because it's not really a horror film. It's an esoteric horror film.
We're tongue in cheek. This isn't really about what you're actually seeing. It's about something else.
Right. That's why you can like the substance. It's okay.
Yeah, that was fuck the substance.
Well, that's how I felt about that. It was like, it's okay to like this because it's not this lowbrow horror film. It's really high art because we're saying things with this concept.
And I dislike that entirely. It's the horrible way to make a movie. From a high level standpoint, it's fucking stupid. I don't need you to tell me some fucking idea that you had, then I agree with that, and then okay, the movie's good. No, that's not how storytelling works. That's horrible.
Well, it's awful. When storytelling is working, it can make you think of things that it's implying that doesn't have to be force feeding you.
Maybe, right? But that's not how this is anymore. For anything, it feels like you have to say the right thing. And if you don't say this thing or do whatever, then I don't know, it's not good. Or at least in the sense that if you say these things, you get a reaction and then you're okay. And it feels like that's kind of what these things did. And even Blumhouse to a degree. I don't think it did that, but Blumhouse became, I don't know, that horror stuff, right? Like everything was the same fucking movie. Like how many Annabelle fucking movies can you make?
Well, even something like The Invisible Man, I thought was a weak approach to that story.
That's fucking awful.
Yeah. Well, that's going to wrap up tonight's episode. We want to thank you guys for joining us, as always, on the Movie Mavericks podcast. You can check out some current reviews we've done over at moviemavericks.com. Check out our YouTube page as well. And you can find our back episodes on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you're getting your podcasts from. Please rate, review, like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff because that helps the algorithm, obviously. We want to thank you guys, as always, for joining us. Speaking for Trevor Anderson, I am Jason Rugard, and we are the Movie Mavericks.
Oh my, another magnificent episode has come to an end. If you're craving more, set your destination to moviemavericks.com, Warp 9. Engage!